Guys, it's Miss Delcambre. Today is October 27th, and here's a rundown of our day. So you'll need your journal, pencil, highlighter, a green and orange pencil color, your Herald question, which is in your notes. It's in Google Classroom under Herald question, or if you got the note packet, it's just like one sheet that says Herald. It's a word problem. You also need glue. Forgot to include that on there. So we're going to check our homework real quick. We've got our notes to go over, and then we're going to start our homework. So here we go. So your homework last night, we did the whole front page together, and then I believe 8 through 11 was homework. So let's go ahead and look at number 8. I'm going to come and grab my highlighter. So if the rate of 12 bottles in one carton, how many bottles are in 6 cartons? So we're comparing our bottles and cartons. The information, we know that there's 12 bottles in there to one carton. How many are there in 6? So I'm going to set up a table. Okay. I'm comparing again bottles and cartons. I know that there are 12 bottles in one carton. So how many will there be in 6? So if I'm looking, how do I go from 1 to 6? I multiply by 6. Hold on, let me kind of go to a darker color. That one's kind of hard to read. Multiply by 6. And then I multiply by 6 to the top. 12 times 6 is 72. So there will be 72 bottles in 6 cartons. There'll be 72 bottles in 6 cartons. All right. Our next one, if you pay $36 for 4 DVDs, how much will you pay for one DVD? So we're comparing cost and DVDs. We know it costs $36 for 4 DVDs. We now need to know what one will be. So if I make my chart, my table, whatever you want to call it, I have my dollars, which represents my money, and DVDs here at the bottom. All right, I know I spent $36, and of that $36, I got 4 DVDs, and I need to figure out what one DVD is going to cost. So how do I go from 4 to 1? I'm going to divide by 4. Divide by 4. 36 divided by 4 gives me $9. So it would be $9 per DVD. Okay. My next one, if you pay $65 for 5 books, how much will you pay for one book? Okay, if I'm looking, I'm comparing again money to books. So $65 for 5 books, how much will I pay for one book? So I'm going to set up my table. So again, money goes on top and the item goes on the bottom. So I now paid $65 for 5 books. 5 goes with books, 65 goes with money. I need to figure out what one book will be. Okay, how do I go from 5 to 1? Well, I can divide by 5. So if I divide by 5 here, I divide by 5 to the top. Now we get a total of $13 per book. $13 per book. Okay, and the last one I believe that we did not do in class is number 11. So if you pay $15 for 3 ounces, how much will you pay for 1 ounce? Again, we're dealing with money. So $15 and then ounces, and we have 3 ounces for $15. How much will you pay for 1 ounce? So we need to find a unit rate. So again, let's make our table. I'm dealing with money, so money goes on top. You can put money, I just put the money sign. It's easy for me to remember. And then ounces on the bottom. Okay, I know for a fact it said $15, so 15 is going to go on top with the dollars, and 3 ounces. 3 is going to go on the bottom with the ounces. Okay, and I need to get to 1 ounce. 1 ounce. So how will I go about doing that? Well, 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. If I take 15 and divide it by 3, I get a total of $5 per ounce. $5 per ounce. Okay, so that was our homework check. We're going to go over more of this today, setting up how to solve rates and ratio questions by using this skill, kind of like our, one second, I don't know what happened here. Using our, this is a table, setting up as a table. We're going to go through 4 things. So 4 things we're going to kind of go over how to solve rates and ratio questions. Give me one moment. Okay, not what I was looking for in there. So go ahead and get your journal out. And in your journal, you'll cut out your Herald question. And you're going to put that up at the top. I'm going to put that up at the top. So here's my question, and we're going to do this question 4 different ways to solve this. So Harold is making a fruit punch for his birthday party. For each mixture, he needs 2 cans of Sprite and 8 jugs of orange juice. If he wants the exact same taste, how many cans of Sprite does Harold need if he uses 24 jugs of orange juice? Okay. So first, let's look for some key information of what we are comparing. Well, I'm looking at Sprite and orange juice. I'm going to highlight that. So I know I'm comparing Sprite and orange juice here. Okay. I have some more information. I have 2 cans of Sprite for every 8 jugs of orange juice. But I have a total of 24 jugs. So I need to know how much Sprite I need so it tastes the same. So again, we're going to do this 4 different ways. The first way that we're going to set it up is setting it up as a model. So I want you to write model real quick. And it's just kind of like a drawing. This will work sometimes when we have these types of questions. This works. Modeling doesn't always work for everything. It's kind of hard to model some things and kind of draw it out. But in this situation, we can. So I know in my question, I have 2 cans of Sprite. So I'm going to do 2 cans of Sprite. Just kind of going to draw a little rectangle. So I have 2 cans of Sprite. And for every 2 cans of Sprite, I need 8 jugs of orange juice. So here's my jug, and I need to draw 8 of them. Okay, so there's 8. So I have 2 to 8. But I need to get to 24. So if I add another round, of orange juices, I will get a total of 16. Okay, so I'm almost done drawing. Okay, so then I have 16 orange juices, but I need it to taste the same, so I need to add 2 more cans of Sprite. Okay, now I have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I need to get to 24. So if I add 8 more jugs of orange juice, I should have 24 jugs. Let's see. So I stopped at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I have 24 things of orange juice. So I need to taste the same. So whenever I did 8, I always did 2 cans of Sprite. So here, my answer would be 6 cans of Sprite. Is what you need. Okay, so that's one way to do this. So a model, do it a model. Guys, models don't always work all the time, so it's just one way to do it. If it doesn't work this way, I'm going to show you another way. That will work most every time. And that's what we've been doing kind of in the homework, and that's creating a table. Okay? Table is pretty easy. Just draw a straight line and make a long table. You can box in, you don't have to. I like to make an open table. And what am I comparing is always going to go first. So again, Sprite is what I'm comparing. I'm comparing Sprite to orange juice. Okay? Now, what do I know about Sprite and orange juice? Well, I know that I need 2 cans of Sprite for every 8 cans of orange juice. 8 cans of orange juice. All right? So, if I double this recipe, I would get 4 cans of Sprite and 16 jugs of orange juice. Now I need to get to 24. But how will I know? What if I want to figure out what 1 can of Sprite gives me? Well, I know I would have to half this. And if I halved that, I would need 4 jugs of orange juice. So with this information, is there a way I can get to 24? There are several different ways where I can get to 24, and let's look. So I could first say, well, 8 times 3 gives me 24. So 2 times 3 gives me 6. That's one way. I can say, oh, look, I have the unit rate. So 1 times 6 gives me 6. 4 times 6 gives me 24. That's the second way to do it. And the third way, which may work sometimes, may not work all the time, is if I look and go, oh, look, I can make 24 by adding 8 plus 16. 8 plus 16 gives me 24. So if I added those two together, I need to add those two to the top together. And 2 plus 4 gives me 6. You see, I got the same answer 1, 2, 3 different times. I can get it 3 different times there. Okay, let's turn our page over. So we've got 2 more. And on this side, we're going to set it up like as being equivalent. Being equivalent. I do a bubble around it. Equivalent. Now, when we set it up as equivalent, you're going to have 2 vertical lines. So, 2 vertical lines, not that difficult. Okay, you're going to set one section of the vertical lines with your words. You're going to set up one of what you know. And you're going to set up another one of what you don't know or what's unknown. All right, referring, and then I'm just going to kind of draw it so I can compare the two, have the two, and then the two. So in the words, what I know, well, I know I'm dealing with Sprite and orange juice. What do I know about Sprite and orange juice? Well, I know that I need 2 cans of Sprite for every 8 jugs of orange juice. I have one more piece of information in that question. That's at 24. Well, that 24 is talking about orange juice, so it's going to go down here. So when I'm looking here, I have as equivalent, so I need to make it like an equivalent ratio. How can I go from 8 to 24? Well, I can times that by 3. So if I times this by 3, I can times the top by 3. And 2 times 3 gives me 6. So my answer is still 6 Sprite cans. So the answer doesn't change, it's just the method in which we're solving it. Then the last one that we're going to do is unit rates. And unit rates will come in handy when we are working with converting measurements. This one's going to come in handy when we deal with converting measurements. It's kind of like the equivalence, but we're going to get it down to 1. So again, set up your 3 like blank fractions that are equivalent to each other. Our words is what we're comparing, still like this one. It's kind of similar, but a little different. So we're comparing our Sprite, comparing it to our orange juice. I know for a fact that 2 cans of orange juice, 2 cans of Sprite goes with 8 jugs of orange juice. So your recipe did not change. Now, again, unit rates go to 1. So if I have 1 Sprite, how much orange juice will I have? Well, I could sit here and go, oh, I'm going to divide this by 2 to get to 1. And I could divide this by 2 to get to 4. So 1 Sprite can for 4 jugs of OJ. So if I continue with that ratio, my unit rate, which is 1 to 4, 1 can of Sprite for 4 jugs of orange juice. And I need to get to 24 jugs of orange juice. All right. How can I go from 4 to 24? Multiplied by 6. I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. And I get 6 cans of Sprite. So the answer still stays the same no matter 4 different ways to solve it. Okay? It's just showing you, I'm just showing you there are many different ways to solve rates and ratio problems. Some of them don't work always the same. So it gives you different ones that you can work with. Okay, so your homework tonight's 7.3. We're going to fill in this table real quick and work on question number 1 and 2. So it says Mark is using the ratio of 3 tablespoons of sugar to 2 tablespoons of milk in a recipe. Complete the table and show the equivalent ratios if Mark decides to increase the recipe. So if I'm looking, I have 3 to 2, okay? And I go from 3 to 6 by multiplying by 2. So if I multiplied by 2 there, I must multiply by 2 at the bottom. 2 at the bottom. And get 2 times 2 gives me 4. 2, too big, 2 over. So now I need to know 8 things of milk, 8 tablespoons of milk. Well, I can look here and say, oh, look, well, 4 times 2 gives me 8. So 6 times 2 will give me 12. You can also go back and say, oh, look. 2 times 4 gives me 8. 3 times 4 gives me 12. Same number, just a different way to look about it. Okay, the next one, 18. Well, how can I find 18? Oh, 6 times 3 gives me 18. So 4 times 3 gives me 12. You can also say 3 times 6 gives me 18, and 2 times 6 gives me 12. Final one, how can I get a 20 out of using these numbers? Well, I look here and go, oh, wait, 2 times 10 gives me 20. So then do to the top, 3 times 10 gives me 30. Okay, so the next one, we have Mark This ratio is 3 to 4, so I'm just going to put M for Mark, and it's a 3 to 4, so I just wrote his ratio right underneath it. Sherry's using a ratio, or using a 2 tablespoons of sugar to 3 tablespoons of milk ratio. So I'm going to give you Sherry. Sherry's going to be here in blue, and she is a 4 to 3 ratio. And then we have Eve. Eve's using 9 tablespoons of sugar to 6 tablespoons of milk. So here's Eve. Eve. Is using 9 to 6. So we need to figure out who is the same as Mark. All right, so think back to your time in 4th grade. I know it was that long ago. But you can solve this by using that friendly little, I think they may have called it butterfly method. Hopefully that triggers some of your memory, like, oh yeah, I remember hearing that. All right, so trying to find a nice pencil, but it's not working for me right now. If I look at it and go, okay, cross multiply 3 times 3. Well, 3 times 3 gives me 9. And 4 times 4, well, that gives me 16. Are those equivalent? No, this one's bigger, so these are not equal. Okay? I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go, well, 4 times 9. 4 times 9 gives me, I'm going to just grab a different color. That is supposed to be a 2. I don't know why I put it there. That is supposed to be a 2. I'm sorry. So let me correct myself. Still, it would not equal, so because 2 times 4 gives me 8. See, this is what happens when I do too many things at one time. So that gives me 8, which still would not be equal. So 2 times 9 gives me 18. And 3 times 6 gives me 18. So those two would be equal. So which girl does he have that's equivalent to him? Would be Eve. Okay. Again, I would set up for number 3, just like I did here at number 2. I would talk about the school, and then Perry. We'll do Perry in pink. Perry's ratio is 5 to 7. And the school's ratio is 15 to 17. And then you could cross multiply and see which one of them, if any, are equal or not, or equivalent or not. Okay, so that will be doing it for today. So tomorrow's lesson, we are going to be breaking out into some breakout groups and working on some of these problems like Harold's question together and see how we can solve it. You also have your review for tomorrow as well. I'm giving it out. And some of you may have the review already. And go ahead and start practicing on that so that Thursday you are ready for our Kahoot game. So that will be all, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye.